Rat 34. Our lives are too precious to be left only in the hands of adults. Today, we know that technology impacts young people, yet not always positively. Issues such as stalking, hate, and exclusion are, I believe, very familiar to you. However, we wanted to present our viewpoint from a completely different perspective. Chapter 1: Addictions. According to data published by the World Health Organization, more than 1 in every 10 of adolescents show signs of problematic social media use. The average time spent online by European adolescents is so alarming that we decided to investigate the reasons behind it. Sites such as Facebook, Snapchat, or Instagram trigger the same neural circuits as gambling and drugs. Likes, shares, and follows on these platforms activate the brain's reward system, which can easily lead to addiction. And the first president of Facebook said that the platform literally changes your relationship with society. The thought behind building apps like Facebook was to make users dependent on them. And big corporations are fully aware of their actions. The apps are designed to be so intuitive that younger and younger users easily fall into their harmful trap. And one of them is romanticization, defined as giving an aesthetic appeal to negative and damaging phenomena. Social media glorifies unhealthy habits, toxic relationships, and self-destructive behaviors. This reality distortion profoundly impacts young people who absorb messages without grasping the consequences. And a well-known example of romanticization is Euphoria, a 2019 HBO series that depicts various teenage struggles, all played by stunning actors who even made opioid addiction look appealing. So appealing, in fact, that young people throw Euphoria-themed parties, blinded by aesthetics and normalizing destructive behaviors, to the point of an almost 30% increase in suicide rates among American teenagers after the first release of a series 13 Reasons Why. And the obsession with aesthetics can also be seen on TikTok. Just take a look at the study results. 35% of MDMA-related content was portrayed positively. A trend-driven generation is increasingly reaching for substances after constant exposure to them on their For You page. Personalized drug-related hashtags make these videos easy to find, and they reach thousands of views. And hashtags are also used to create communities, including those promoting eating disorders. Their content pushes unhealthy body standards, urging young people to eat less and weight less. And even former Meta expert claims that the company fails to remove majority of harmful content related to suicide. Pop culture is overflowing with toxic patterns that turn harmful behavior into just another part of an aesthetic. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's ask ourselves, how are we supposed to behave in this flood of negative influences without fearing for our own well-being?
Chapter 2: Fear. Our generation is often labeled as the most anxious, with research showing higher stress levels than previous generations. But what truly distinguishes Gen Z is that the scope of our fear has changed. We no longer worry only about the fate of an individual or at most our city or a country, but about the fate of the whole world. Our daily concerns now include epidemics, wars, and climate change. With recent events, the topic of war has become extremely prevalent. Media amplifies this fear. The sheer number of articles claiming to predict the exact date of a Russian attack on Poland is striking. The fear of a dystopian end of the world is not presented to us only through social media. We have been exposed to this imagery from an early age through pop culture. Netflix production Black Mirror serves as the perfect example. In the series, a character's contact lenses recorded his entire life, which was then used by, for example, airports to check for suspicious activities. Smart lenses that provide access to the metaverse, so a digital 3D world, already exist. People say that this series is not science fiction, it is a reflection of the present. In front of you are two photographs, one of a real person and the other an AI-generated avatar. As you can see, it is very difficult to distinguish between the two. AI is developing at an exponential pace. Young people in particular fear that it will take over our future. Overstimulation is also one of the main issues we experience. We have everything, yet everything is far too much. Too much information, too many decisions to make. This is called the paradox of choice. While more options can increase our happiness, beyond a certain point, more choices actually reduce it. Why? We experience something called analytical paralysis, the feeling of being unable to make a decision due to overthinking the problem. What you might not be aware of is that young people fear phone calls, preferring text or emails instead. What once was not a concern, children not contacting parents, has reversed, with social media increasing anxiety for both adults and young people. You have created a world we are now afraid to leave. Even when we want to disconnect from social media, the fear of missing out prevails. We are trapped in a loop.
Chapter 3. Safety. We fear losing something by not engaging in social media. However, when we do, what we lose is our security. The European Commission estimates the US online data market will reach 829 billion euros this year. Our personal data has become the new oil to big corporations. One of them is Meta. Last year, CEO Mark Zuckerberg apologized to families of children who committed suicide due to use of his apps. Yet, this year, he announced the removal of fact-checkers, which is a retreat from any sane and safe approach to content moderation, causing exposure to harmful content. Another threat to families is sharenting, where children are exposed to constant pressure and judgment. Parents are not aware of their actions' impacts. The statistics speak for themselves. If that's not convincing enough, here's more. The average digital birth of children worldwide happens at about 6 months, and 15% of children begin their digital life before they are even born. Sharenting is so prevalent that in 2020, a Polish YouTuber uploaded a video of her own childbirth, not covering the face of her newborn. Many parents use tracking apps for safety, but their eavesdropping features can erode trust and privacy. Constant surveillance makes children feel controlled, leaving them no personal space, even in their own room. Boundaries are essential for maintaining comfort. However, with the advancement of AI, they can be easily breached. According to Security Hero, 98% of deepfake content online is pornographic videos. Children can simply create these, using apps designed to undress individuals. Those apps do not confirm the real age of the user. Today, there are many such victims. How are they supposed to build healthy relationships and trust someone afterward? Easy access to online porn contributes to high rates of porn addiction, turning young people into both victims and offenders. Seeing the state of the internet, we lose trust in others, causing deep relationships to slowly fade, and making it harder to form new ones based on trust.
Chapter 4. Contact. Right next to us might be someone we could deeply connect with, yet we retreat into shallow digital interactions. A flat, smooth, cold phone often seems more appealing to us. teenagers experience a high level of loneliness on social media. With the rise of AI, chatbots like Replica have been created, allowing the emergence of new types of relationships. Eugenia Kujda developed it to continue conversations with her deceased friends. As she says, Replica is a companion in the truest sense of the word, the most supportive relationship you have ever experienced. Those applications certainly do not protect younger users. And one victim is Sewell, a 14-year-old boy who became dangerously attached to a bot on Character AI. He created a sexual relationship and fell in love with a bot. On February 28, 2024, he took his life. Child-bot relationships are dangerous, as children's brains can't fully control impulses or grasp consequences. And the internet is our new playground. The metaverse is a digital, three-dimensional space where avatars let people work, socialize, and have fun. Though it might seem futuristic, 20.6 million Europeans enter it daily via a popular multiplayer game, Roblox. Players can shape the gameplay by creating objects, places, stories, relationships, and more. And companies have created virtual cities in the game, where players can buy digital versions of real items, and including a virtual Gucci handbag that costs 500 euros. Ladies and gentlemen, 67% of players are under the age of 16. And I'm telling you this because companies are using it to introduce unaware children to the metaverse, blurring the line between virtual and real world. Social media, but not only them, trap us in informational bubbles. TikTok's personalized algorithms shape our beliefs, keeping us unaware of what others see. In this cognitive war, the aim is not just to change what we think, but how we think. And in 2016, Facebook's algorithm spread anti-Rohingya propaganda in Myanmar, amplifying hate content that fueled violence and ethnic cleansing. A UN mission found that algorithm played a determining role, and the opponent can realistically conquer society without resorting to open force. We are more connected than ever in human history, yet we are the most lonely.
Chapter 5. Experiment. Ladies and gentlemen, as much as the metaverse is still an experiment, we feel like one too. Orwell's world has reached the University of Michigan, where a windowless dorm building has been built. Some call it an experiment in preparing young people for life in the metaverse, where digital reality becomes their main source of interaction and stimulation. It is clear that the students do not support the idea. It truly seems that young people have become the perfect objects for testing new technologies. A growing number of schools in China are equipped with AI cameras and brainwave trackers. The interesting part: the producers claim that the headbands measure students' focus, yet no one actually understands what it is that they track. Ladies and gentlemen, no one is safe anymore. Last year, a non-invasive method for mind reading was developed, with original pictures shown to the patients at the top and those recreated by AI at the bottom. As you can see, the system is not yet perfect, but who knows what will happen in the future. Additionally, with the help of facial analysis, AI is able to determine our political views, sexual orientation, or even faith with 92% accuracy. We don't know who is analyzing our data, and we don't know whether they will be used against us. But this again is not the only way for them to gather and experiment on our data. Various features are already used for more in-depth analysis. AI analyzes not only what we click, but also how we click, reaction time, context, and intensity, and then transfers this data into an image. This is a heat map from the Guardian website. What we clicked more often has visible warmer colors, and what less, green. But maybe not only our thoughts, but also our actions are endangered. Optogenetics is a biological technique that uses light to control specific cells. Researchers at Yale genetically modified mice, which allowed them to switch their killer instincts off and on at will. As they say, turning mice into stone-cold killers.
Rat 34. You may be wondering about our title. In an experiment, the little rat had to choose between food and pressing the lever that simulated its brain's pleasure center. The rat kept pressing the lever, eventually stepping to it and functioned normally. I would like to highlight that photograph shows a different experiment, Mouse Utopia. Rat 34. A rat because we feel like test subjects in an experiment conducted by adults. They have created unattainable yet alluring goals for us in the digital world while constantly increasing the bar. Addiction engineers are hired to keep us glued to our phone screens. We have an impossible choice: to disconnect from our relationships or remain immersed in the digital world, sacrificing real-life connections. The mental health decline in young people is a result of an uncontrolled experiment. But this experiment is no accident. It's cognitive warfare engineered by all those in power. Ladies and gentlemen, we have only one question for you. Where does the war begin? We would like to thank our former and actual team, Zuzanna Ruciks and Małgorzata Rutkowska, and our project coordinator, Anna Rzepa, and members of the project Cognitive Warfare Through the Eyes of Young People. Thank you.
Ja również bardzo dziękuję.